Hey, first of all, let me tell you. Guys, 4 years later, still share, talking to me, how we involved. Answer me, so probably it's simple. Tapping in for real, y'all. I'm not another way that you can pay your bills. You got your computer after you hear this song.
Good evening, good evening. Drop it in the chat as you log in, where you're calling in from. Drop it in the chat. We'll get this call started in just a minute. Good evening, good evening. Good evening. Drop it in the chat where you're calling in from, along with those affirmations, so we can go ahead and get this call started, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I want to welcome each and every last one of you all to our weekly, our chart analysis, our market structure analysis, our, market understanding call, right? That's really what this is all about. And I just want to officially welcome each and every last one of you all to this call. Also, as you guys log in, I want to make sure, first and foremost, as we're in this pre-enrollment phase, I want to make sure that you all are aware to make sure that you're actually monitoring our Telegram. Now, and our Facebook page, and many of you all might have actually seen that there is a chat now through the Facebook page to really kind of communicate and keep you updated on what's going on. We are on Zoom now temporarily. This is not going to be the case, as you all should now see the BYOB live back on your in your academy. Okay, you should be able to see that back inside of your academy. So when you're actually on our academy website, you'll see that BYOB live link. And that is actually where our calls are going to be taking place, right? That's where our calls will be facilitated. There was a technical error. We were supposed to launch on for the 1 May. And, we have pretty much gotten that taken care of. And it's currently being reinstalled. It is a custom build. So, but just know that it is almost here and it's here for you. So we'll be getting that started and just, coming up really, really soon. But a few administrative notes before we get started, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tasha M. Dyer. I'm the Trade Whisperer, creator of the BYOB Cash Out Strategy. And I'm going to walk you through a few things just because I want to make sure this is a Thursday night call. We had it, we didn't have it. And, first and foremost, and I'm saying this because I need you all to make sure you're paying attention to the Telegram, because those updates will be coming out. Now, next week, I'm going to tell you now, I will be traveling. Unexpected death in my family. So from, Thursday night to Monday, I will be traveling. I will be going home for a funeral. So we're not going to have calls, going to be unavailable on those even not the morning calls and other educators. Now, if somebody actually can do the call, then that will happen, but myself personally. So, and I'm sharing that because I want you to understand as we get this solidified, we're going through that pre-enrollment phase, everything is getting up and running. I want to make sure that all of you are aware, you know, that that is where your updated information will be until everything is 100% solidified. So I do want to make sure, you know, we have that conversation up front. So, you know, everything is getting there. We're just about there. So, and so just to kind of familiarize you with our website just a little bit, I want you to see that, because I want you to understand your success. I'm aware we have BYOB movement worldwide is an economic empowerment movement, okay? That's what we are. We are an economic empowerment movement. And understanding that we are an economic empowerment movement, that means that we're going to touch your life in many different aspects of it. So we're going to help you learn how to make the money. We're going to help you understand how to leverage it. And then, of course, how to protect it. But what does that mean to you? So this is where your success is, right? So you can see there, we're consistently customizing these things to make sure that there is success for you. So this is where our affiliates and customers, right? This is ultimately where that site is, your steps to success. And as you can see, we have your getting started. You want to watch that. You have your affiliate program if you are an affiliate to understand how that works. And then, of course, you have your training site and, of course, the welcome packet you definitely want to download. Now, our website network, because everything is not on one website, but I want you to familiarize yourself with this website because this website is going to take you wherever you need to go. So for example, we're on a trading call. Your trading academy is here, right? That trading academy is here. And so you need to access that trading academy is right here. Your funding, where your personal credit, business credit, real estate investing, you know, all of that's here. So you definitely want to utilize these links and they should open in another tab so you don't have to go back, you know, it'll be here. Obviously your paraphernalia, your real estate services, and of course the university where our personal development takes place and those courses and those networks. So everything you need is here. I just want to be clear. Also, you know, you want to understand a little bit more about the products. You know, I'm not going to get too deep on this call. Obviously, this will be a Sunday evening call, so we'll really familiarize you that when you register, you come to that class. But I want you to understand, like, for our trading call, we do have our trading tools, right? That's here, right? We have our trading calls that's here. And so as I'm looking, you can see that this is that live feed, which is you know, we have our trading chart. So definitely want to make sure that, you know, understanding that this is the trading view chart. Now, why is that here? Well, this is here because there are many of you that are not familiar or hadn't used, right? Some of you guys were using tools. And so here we have the trading view chart. But it's the basics of the trading view chart. And it has the BYOB cash out on here, the strategy already programmed on there. You're not going to be able to go in and update the watch list or anything on this chart. You're going to have to take this chart to another, like to actual trading view. You can access trading view by just clicking down here at the bottom. And so these are those things. And of course, the news, we check the news. So we have our economic calendar and it looked like it's not really pulling up, but it's there. So we have our economic calendar that's available for you all. And you want to make sure that you're utilizing this, you're taking advantage of it, right? And, you know, that's what we're doing. So now I'm not going to go through the basics, what we did on Sunday evening. You know, that's definitely what we did on Sunday evening. But what I am going to do tonight and what I am going to cover, you know, what we did, we talked about market structure, top-down analysis, right? That's what we talked about the last time we were on this call. But today I want to talk to you about actually taking a trade because I know that you will get that hands-on training on the basics call, but I want you to see it from a top-down analysis approach, right? I want you to see, because that is one of the questions as we analyze this, because on our morning call, one of the things that we talked about, and guys, you know, I see you dropping it in the chat as you're logging on. I kind of didn't announce where you guys were from or any of that. We kind of jumped right in. But I do want you to drop it. And if you have any questions, comments, or testimonies, put it in the chat. And I do want to know this, though, before we really get too deep. If this is your first time here with me this evening on this call, give me a 111 in the chat. If you are still learning, let me get a 222. And if you are actively trading, regardless your percentage, you know, not concerned about percentage just yet, but if you are actually trading, right, let me get a 777. So if you are new to this call, this is your first time here with us this evening, let me get a 111. You're awesome. Actively trading. Now, for those of you all who are trading, are you, and I know I'm in your business, are you profitable traders, meaning you know your percentage rate, you're over that 70% percentage rate, or it still need, or you just tell me, it needs a little work, you trying to fine tune those entries, you know, and you might have to type it out. I want to know who I'm talking to this evening, and that's the purpose of this call. So who am I talking to this evening? Because I see some of you guys actively trading. And even if you have fine tuning, there we go. Even if we have some of you all who are doing okay, do you understand what you're doing, or is it okay, fine tuning? I like the fine tuning. So are you taking the trades, needs work, and fine tuning? Awesome. So are you able to take the trades, right? And are you understanding what you're doing? Or are you just like, when it takes profit, you're like, oh, thank you, Jesus. You know, so where are you at with that? Is it a who, thank you, Jesus moment? Or, you know, is it you are in there and you understand what you're doing? So you having some you say both. You say you having some thank you, Jesus moments. Okay. Now, I will tell you this, okay? If you are not, and I want you guys need help with market structure, all right? And I thank you all for your transparency, and that's why we're doing this call. If you are not, you know, I love that, and I call them the thank you, Jesus moments, because I understand them. If you are not profitable, you know, consistently, I want you guys to kind of keep that lower lot size. I understand compounding. I understand you wanting to walk away and profit, but I need you all to get comfortable with the market. And if you need to be back in your demo accounts, please get back in your demo accounts, okay? And it's okay to be in your demo account. It's okay, you know. We talk about it all the time. Football is my favorite sport, right? I was calling it a season because technically that's what it is, football season. It's my favorite season, and you know, and what they're gonna be doing soon, they're gonna be releasing schedules. You know, currency pairs, they're gonna be releasing their schedules. They'll be going to camp, and then they'll have a full-blown preseason. And they do this every year. So I don't want you to feel that that's somewhere you can't be, right? I want you to understand that you can be in that, schedule. Like you can be in that zone, right? Where you back in your demo account, or you're lowering those lot sizes, right? Just don't ride the bench. That's all I'm saying. Don't be an 8 player. You know, my son used to play Pop Warner, and they got that, you know, some of the kids, you know, it was mandatory that they had 8 plays, and then they had to go sit down. And so, you know, don't be the 8 play kid or the kid that don't want to play when they show up. I want all of you all to get in the game, and if getting in it, because that's the only way you're going to fine tune. We're going to go over information. We're going to do this thing. But the only way you're going to fine tune, the only way you're going to walk in that profit, the only way those things are going to happen is if you actually, right? If you actually get in there. So, you know, how many of you all are on the charts or looking at something or doing something every day? And we're going to talk about taking a trade in just 1 second. I just wanted to know where you all are. How many of you all are actually, regardless of if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I'm not just talking about sitting on the calls because you show up, right? And okay, so I'm talking about you on your own time. You know, how many of you are, and that's why I said whether it's 15 minutes, you know, you analyze the currency pair, you're taking some trades, you're setting alerts. So you want to create those repetitive habits, you know, and that's why I said it doesn't have to be hours on end. I just want you all to get comfortable looking at these charts. You want to train your eyes, you want to train your mind, you want to see them. So, and I say every day because I don't want you to believe you have to sit at the computer all day. You don't, but I do want you to look at it, okay? I do want you to look at it. And what it is doing, all right, 6 days. What it is doing, it is creating a habit, right? Because it takes 21 days to make a habit, but it's something a habit if you only look at it once or twice. It's something a habit if you only look at it, you know, occasionally. Or how can you train your mind to see what you need to see if you're not spending some time with it on a regular basis? So I want you to get in that mindset, all right? You guys with me? And I kind of knew based on the last call where we were. Give me a 555 if you're with me. I knew where we were, and that's why I wanted to kind of come back to this, okay? Because this was beautiful, right? This was beautiful. And this is one of those trades, but when we're on a call in the morning, and what did I just do? I have no idea what I just did, but we're going to see if I can do this. Because I lost something. Okay. Did not mean to do that. So I got it back. See the undo button? Works every time. So now, what I meant was, what I was trying to say is this was beautiful, 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 right? Now, right here, okay, that is about 750, a 750 pip move. All right, I know we're following GBP/USD. I know we looked at EuroCAD. I know, but this is the one that we analyzed. And I'm going to ask you guys, right? And we talked about where it would come to. We had our target areas and we identified. So everything that's here, we identified on our Monday and Tuesday morning calls. So I need to know 777, did anybody take any part of this trade? 777 in the chat, did anybody take any part of this trade? Did anybody take any part of this trade? 7, okay. Okay, I love it. Congratulations. Congratulations. That is a testimony. Congratulations. Your first $1,000 trade. Congratulations. I love it. So now let's talk about it. You know, I took this trade. I loved it. And I wanted to kind of help walk you through understanding because I need more 777s, right? I need more of you all actually taking the trade. Even if you don't take the entire trade, I need more of you all actually taking the trade. So I'm going to get rid of these things, okay? I'm going to get rid of these lines because we actually don't need them anymore. We already talked about and identified what we believe was going to happen, when it was going to happen and things like that, okay? So we already did that, and you know, this is what we believed it would do, okay? This is what we believed it would do. Now, one of the things, you know, you see I'm on a daily, I'm going to drop to my 4-hour. So, and I'm going to start here, okay? Look, I'm going to be undoing all night, it appears. So when this was rising, you know, the market does one of two things, and I'm going to come to here because a lot of times we get caught where we believe that we just want to take the trades up, down, sideways, turn it around, back and forth, you know, when it dropped, like we just want to take the trade. And tonight I want you to focus on the education behind the trade. You know, I don't want you taking a trade believing that you're going to miss out. So what do I mean by that? As we were looking, okay, this is, somebody tell me what this is. What is this? Okay, what is this? And what direction is it going? What is it and where is it going? Yeah, it's an uptrend. What is it? What kind of pattern is that? What's it doing? Is it making higher highs? There we go. There we go. An Elliott wave. Now, there are going to be some things that you're going to love. Everybody has their thing when they learn how to trade. Everybody has their thing that they like. Everybody has the things that, you know, flow with them. But, you know, I am a Elliott. I like Elliott waves. I like trend lines. I like channels, right? Those are things that I like. And, you know, you got your fibs. You have so many different things that's available to you. But I want to focus, I'm actually thinking this back out. I like to focus because I think that as I'm teaching and I'm talking to you all, that, you know, this helps you understand more, because this is going to do a few things. I'm going to move this to the side just a little bit because we kind of marked this one up. I'm not going to remove all of these things. Okay, I'm not going to do that. But I want to kind of show you right here. So what I can remove though are these, and we'll put them back on as needed, right? As needed, because I want you to see it from scratch. So let's just look at the market and then we'll come over here. So as the market was moving up, right, what we typically, you know, kind of have, or what we're typically looking for is, and of course, I'm gonna click everything before I find what I want. So when you think Elliott wave, okay, actually, I'm gonna do this. I drew too many, but I wanted to do something. I want to move this over because I want to come somewhere where the chart's a little clean, because I'm going to draw. And see, when we go to BYOB Live, we'll have a whiteboard, and I could have done this on a whiteboard, right? So, but we're going to do it here now. Okay, I'm going to make it nice and perfect for you. Nice and perfect. Nice and perfect. Right now, of course, I got more than 5. Well, 1, 2, 3, but I just want you to get the image, right? Get the understanding. So what you notice, okay, when we're working with an Elliott wave, when we're working with this, okay, the way the market moves is the market goes up and it's always going to pull back. So you have your impulse, then the market will correct. It will impulse, it will correct. It will impulse, it will correct, it will impulse, it will correct, it will impulse, okay? So it's like impulse, correct, actually, this is called a continuation, honestly. The impulse is like the first one. So let me just say it the way you'll normally hear it. Impulse, correction, continuation, correction, continuation, correction, continuation, correction, continuation, okay? That's the way you'll hear it. Now, where this happens is at support and resistance lines, all right? So this is going to happen at support and resistance lines. So what you'll typically see is we'll say, hey, take it to the line chart, okay? And just for the sake of this not jumping onto something else we had, I'll do it this way. But you'll typically see where we'll be like, hey, you know, take it to the line chart so you can actually see those things, okay? Now, what you're seeing here is we have that wave. Now, what's happening is when it gets to the support and resistance line, the market is actually going to respond. You know, the market is going to respond to those zones. So when it comes here, this is actually a resistance area, and the market is going to pull back and it's going to go grab some buyers. Okay, they're going to sell off a little bit and they're going to grab some buyers. So that's what we call a correction in the market, all right? It goes up, it corrects. Then it's going to continue. And as it continues, it breaks through this line. Now, it's going to do the exact same thing, hit that resistance area, And now this line that was once resistance is now support. The market is going to respect this zone and continue on and do the same thing. So now you can see this is where it begins now creating those higher highs, right? So now the market is doing what's called creating those higher highs, okay? So as the market is creating those higher highs, so, right, it's creating those higher highs, as you can see. I could have just clicked copy, it is. But it's so you can see that that's what it's doing. So as it's creating those higher highs. So as you know, you're in a wave pattern as long as the market is creating those higher highs. So once it stops making those highs, like for example, if it only came down to here or if it came to here, we are no longer creating higher highs, right? So also, you're gonna have what's higher lows, okay? Now what these higher lows are simply means it's a low because this side is the high, so it's a low, right? But it's higher than the one back here, okay? So as it continues to do that and it creates those higher lows in the market, this is what we're looking for. So as long as this did not, as long as it didn't come back down here, then, and break this one, like go past this one, that makes this a higher low. Are you with me? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? 555 if you're with me. Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay. Now, why is that important? Because what you guys have to understand, the market is just not gonna shoot up and end up here and then pull back and shoot up. Now, so we see this, we train to this, but you have to understand that there's a process for it to break through these little zones, right? So, but before we get to that process, I also want you to understand this. This is why these are like my favorite things. The market is gonna always respect that. So you have your trend line. And what a trend line is gonna be 1, 2. I say 1, 2, and then I say pull it through. Now you notice I'm not trying to make this because this is actually a perfect example. The market doesn't move perfectly, okay? So this is a perfect example, but the market doesn't move perfectly. So this is what you train to, but this is what you see. So it looks like that, but it doesn't, right? So, but you can see the higher highs and all of those things that are there. So this is that trend line. Now, a channel is nothing but creating a boundary on the bottom and the top. We train to trend lines, but a channel is nothing but taking a copy of that line. And I like the clone instead of you drawing another one because it gives you the exact same angle, measurements, and everything else. You notice how when I click clone, it didn't put it up here, it was down here, but you notice I could actually put it on top of this one. It's the same angle, it's the same, every thickness is the same, everything. So I'm gonna put that channel there, right? And so you get that 1, 2, pull it through effect, the same thing. And the market will move in that zone. Now, so that's that perfect. That's that perfect, right? So what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna clone this because I wanna leave my training example down there, but I'm gonna bring this up here. And of course, if I turned it around, it would do the same thing in a downward momentum, like in the short, in the sell. So I'm just gonna sit this up here. I'm not actually thinking it out so you guys can see it, but I want you to look at it now. Can you see that? And tell me, can you see that it's following that pattern? It's not, so it moves, right? My example is a perfect one. However, comma, right? However, comma, it's never gonna be perfect. Look at how it's on the support and resistance lines we already had up there. So look at that. So if I was to bring this over here, right, you can see how it still kind of follows that, but you have more up here, like more push. So it kind of follows it, but look at how it's not perfect. But even in the sense of it not being perfect, if I put it there, let's move it up some. Let's start it from right here. Do you all see how it's still respecting and responding no matter where I place it, right? That is still responding and respecting those support and resistance lines. Do you see that? Do you see it? Okay, awesome. Is this helping you? Is this helping bring any clarity to that fog that some of you all mentioned? Give me a 777 because I got a cat all caps. So, all right, awesome. So this is what this looks like, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put our trend line that was already there that I just moved to the side. Now you notice why I say 1, 2, pull it through. 1, right? And this one really didn't. This was kind of where it started. It could have technically, I would typically go with the first one that breaks that last significant level. So I want you to understand that this is kind of around that time. So, but look at once we get that 1, 2, pull it through. I want you to look at how the market is respecting it, but you see how it kind of pushed below it a little bit? Don't get caught up on that. That's what I meant about there are activities that take place around the support and resistance lines that we have to respect, right? There are things that take place around those support and resistance lines that we have to respect. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about when we talk about taking a trade, all right? So I'm going to clone this line. And when I clone it to make me a channel, you know, look at what happens. So when you're taking a trade, I'm going to give you one little hint. I would take it to about the middle of the channel before I start trying to push it. Does anybody understand why so far? I want you to look at that channel. Does anybody understand why? Yes or no? Anybody understand why? Yes or no? Okay, good. Thank you for your honesty. Anybody understand why when I say I would do my profit mid-channel? Not sure? No. And I even a no. That's that. So let's look at it. Or unsure. I got it. I love it. Nobody said yes. I love it. And I love it because you guys are being honest. Not I love you don't know. That's why we're going to train and talk about it. But I love the honesty and the transparency because that's how I can help you. Now, I want you to look at something, right? So if I was to clone this one, I'm going to clone it. And then I'm going to change the type of line that it is, okay? And I'm going to put it about halfway through. Now, there's no science in this halfway, but now it look like a street, right? Look like a little street. So can you guys see through the charts? Like you can see it. So what you're seeing, now these are Japanese candles. We haven't actually taken a trade yet. But what you're seeing is as the market is reacting, do you see that it only comes down sometimes to about that midpoint? Bam, right? Especially as it starts losing momentum, right? As it starts, so we had some beautiful, when it burst out, it was like, bam, I'm in there. Pull back. Did it pull back all the way? It had a lot of buyers' momentum still. It didn't pull back all the way, and then it shot up, right? It shot up. And it actually touched the line. It touched the line completely. Then the sellers had a lot of momentum. Do we know they will or will not have a lot of momentum? So you notice that when it bust out of the gate, when it first got started, it had a lot of momentum. And it didn't have enough sellers to bring it all the way back down because we had to break this last significant level, right? This little zone area right up in here. We had to break that. So what am I looking for? Clicking everything but what I want. So right up in here, I felt this would be better. So I wanted to do this. So right up in here, it was rejected, and it took a lot of buying power to get out of that. So it came back and retested that last significant level, and then it shot up again. Then it started making a wave. So you're talking about buyer and seller momentum, but you have no way of measuring that. Oh, awesome. The half line? Awesome. So you is it clear now, or I need to explain a little bit more? You got it? So just let me know. Awesome. So explain a little more. So, okay. So you want me to go all the way back to the trend line? Do I need to go back that far or just here? To the middle line, to the dash line, to the dash line? Okay, no problem. So right here, which is, obviously it's a guesstimate. I didn't measure any of this, but this dash line is the middle of my channel. And what I'm showing you is as the market is moving up, you're going to have more buyers or more sellers. What happened here in this example, we never know how it's going to play out, but we know we're going to have more buyers or more sellers. That's just how it's going to work. So, but we do know that in order to get a uptrend, that we have to break that level. So you see it was rejecting, and it finally broke through. So it had a lot of momentum, right? It had a lot of momentum. When it broke and it touched the top of this line, right? The top of the channel. Now, what we do understand from market structure is that this would, if it would have come all the way back down here, then it wouldn't have been a break. So you notice it pulled down and it retested the top of this line, and then the buyers caught wind again. So it was a lot of momentum. It touched the top of the channel. All right. So forget about me explaining it from this perspective. Let's just look at it from the buyers. Buyers in the market, bam, a lot of momentum. It touched the top of the channel. It only pulled back to the middle of the channel. All right. It only pulled back to the middle of the channel. Then the buyers, because it had a lot of buyers, it touched the top. You notice that when you look at channels and you look at trends, that it does not always touch the trend line, or it doesn't. Now you notice it'll touch it on the bottom for the most part, but it doesn't always reach the top. It doesn't always reach the bottom. Like in this downward trend, because you got your 1, 2, pull it through. Let's go. Do I have a clean one? Right? If we were doing, it would be here, but it doesn't always touch, like it wicked out. So it would have been here, but there. So the reason for the middle and kind of like your first goal, it doesn't have to be your final goal, but your first goal should be somewhere around the middle of that channel. Does that make sense? Because we know we'll get at least halfway there, but it's no guarantee. Like as the buyer, it was still had enough buyers to push the market up, but you notice that the buyers began losing momentum. It never reached the top of the channel again. It made a higher high, but it never reached the top of the channel. It made a higher high, but it never reached the top of the channel. It made a higher high, but so they were losing steam in a sense. Does that bring some, does that explain it? Is that right? Okay, good. Thank you. So, and that's what it is. And so that's what actually took place, and that's what happened. But for you, once you understand, well, that would be zone to zone in a sense, not in and out of the trade. So not necessarily in and out of the trade. What I'm gonna show you, but technically you could be in and out of the trade. So yes, but that's like when you say I'm trading into that zone, it's still from here to here. But you notice like this might be my target 1, but even when I hit my target 2, you notice that it pulled back first. So you're looking for those key entry points. So I can sit back and say, okay, I'm gonna just let it ride the pullbacks and do all of that. But if you're trying to take the trade, what happens a lot is if I'm looking at this one, like let's come over here and look at the wave pattern here. What happens a lot is you guys are trying to trade this in a buy, trade this in a sell, trade this in a buy, trade this in a sell, trade this in a buy, trade this in a sell, and then wonder why you can't get consistent in your profits. Why are your trades not consistent? Why am I 50-50, right? Why am I doing those things instead of, hey, I'm gonna go for a buy and I'm gonna wait the pullback regardless of the pips. and go up. So, well, yeah. Oh, you see your problem. Let me do zone to zone on another call because I don't want to, you know, I'm about to do the pull back and retest, but zone to zone, let me do that on another call because it can come across confusing if I try to mix it right now, if that makes sense. So if we have time at the end, but we're about 20 minutes. So if we have, and I do want to talk about entering a trade and the key of like that. No, yeah, I'm glad. So, and that's how you finally made your first. I love it. And, you know, because if I teach too much at one time, then it'll be like it'll be colluded in somebody's head. And I want everybody to have clarity. But don't let me forget, I definitely want to cover that zone to zone aspect and that zone to zone thinking. I do want to teach on that. I really do. So this is what, and this is how you did it. And now you see your problem, right? And so and this is why we changed our teaching method. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today as far as taking a trade. This is why we changed it, because we always want the message clear. Because we can get excited about, oh, let me grab 10 pips. And what the intent was for you all to understand how to take a trade first, but then do the market structure. And with the market structure, then you understand how you enter the trade, but teaching you, you know, building your confidence through grabbing some pips, taking some trades, but with the understanding that you still have to learn the market structure. But what happens is people get excited about seeing some profits and they don't continue the education, and you believe that you could just take the trade. So we shifted to focusing on the education and walking you through how to take profits. So because we always taught the same thing, it's just we just changed how we're sharing it with you so you don't get caught up. And that's what people were doing. And that's why you say, exactly, I see my problem. Because if you're just, 10 pips, bam, 10 pips, bam, without trying to analyze and understand the big picture of the market, you're never going to have the consistency to say you can pay your bills with this. You know, you'll make some money, you'll do some withdrawals, but you'll never get to the consistency that you're looking for. And so I wanted to pull back and peel this back a little bit and make sure you guys understand that, you know, you'll be doing trend lines and those things on your basic calls and things, but I want you to understand how this market flows. Like, how does it work? So let's dive over here for a moment. So we've already, you know, for the sake of time, you know, we already identified our zone. So let's say we go back to what we trained on the last Thursday. We had a call and we understand the zone area. And that's ultimately how we ended up here, knowing that this was our ultimate take profit that we were looking for, right? That ultimate goal. And as you can see, the market played out and did exactly that. Now, with that being said, as we look at this, and it might tap into the zone that you were asking about, right? But we identify, so if I come back over here first, before we move on this side, like I'm trying to do, you're looking like we talked about those higher highs down there. All of this is higher, you know, it's creating those higher highs, right? So this is still a higher high, even though it didn't come all the way up here. And then you're still creating those higher lows, right? You're still creating those higher lows. And that's a pattern. And the same thing happened over here, that it was actually beginning. Now we're creating lower highs. So, and for the sake of transparency and clarity, I used to high, low, low, high, higher, low, lower, high, higher, high, like mix them up, turn them around, flip them, call them something else. But if it's going up, then it's always higher, high, higher, high, higher, low. If it's going down, it's getting lower. So that makes it a lower low and a lower high. So remember, it's always going to be the high, the high, the high, the high, the high, right? We always got the high, or we have the low, right? But if it's going up, it's a higher high, higher low. If it's going down, it's a lower first, lower high, and a lower low. Does that help somebody? Because I promise you, the simple stuff, when I started trading, the simple stuff I just could stare at the screen sometimes like, make this make sense. Make this make sense. Why is this and why is this that? you know, so hopefully that helps some clarity for somebody. Now, let's look at this, okay? So, and like I say, it might be tapping on the, it might be touching on it a little bit, you know, the zones, but it's not like, okay, it's not like I'm training on the zone to zone. But what I want you to see is at those support and resistance lines, I'm not going to put the channel over here. We already trained on that because I want to spend a few minutes and I want to talk to you about entry points and things. So you notice that every time, right? And even over here, maybe I do need to do the one that's marked up. So maybe we do, for the sake of you guys understanding in its totality. I know it looks like a coloring book, but we're gonna make sure, all right? I want you guys to see it in its totality, like with what we already marked up, so you can see it in the channels. You know, maybe that'll help. So let's look, okay? Now, yeah, we can keep that there. So you notice that what I'm looking at right now, everything has been, we analyze on the higher time frames, we drill down, and now I'm on a 4-hour. I am not yet, matter of fact, I'm gonna do this so you guys can see this play out because I want you to see it, okay? I'm gonna replay it because I really want you guys to watch this fall and hit those zones. Is it gonna let me do it? I want you to watch this play out. I just want you to watch it. I want you to watch it hit those zones that it's touching, okay? And then we're gonna talk about those entry points. Maybe I should have played the music while I was playing so you guys could just. And I want you to pay attention because we always are looking at how it played out, but I want you to see how it's reacting and rejecting at those trend lines. How is it reacting in those zones, right? See how it's bouncing off? You saw how it went red. Now, I'm gonna back that up just a minute. Did you see how it was still red for a minute? I want you guys to pay attention to like all these little details. So let's back this up just a little bit. Oh, it's already in replay mode. So I'm gonna back it up just a little bit. And I want you to look, I'm only gonna start it from about right here, but I want you to watch how these change colors. So I'm gonna move this back over. I want you to, don't forget, watch it. That went from red to green. That's why identifying your zones and things are so important because you can get caught up in believing it's gonna do something else. Mm-hmm. Look at how red that was, and then it was green. Look how it's reacting to the support and resistance lines. And it's respecting everything we marked up, which is important to identify before you start trading. Hopefully you guys can see just how important support and resistance and your trend lines are. If you don't see anything else, see, it's still retested, still retested. Retesting. Bam. See? And even when the market does these little pullbacks, because you understand what's happening, you will not spaz out, right? Because you understand what's happening. So you analyze, right? And that's what I said. When we look at this, that's why, you know, we're talking about getting in a trade. So when you're looking at this, right? The market is not just going to break through. It's always going to test and retest. But yes, that's where you want to enter your trade, because I don't want you guys trying to take a trade, like just getting in a trade and then I'm gonna take the retest. And that's why I'm like, trade with the trend. If you're trying to solidify your skill set, if you are trying to enhance your skill set, trade with the trend. So if this is an uptrend, would you be taking any sales? Would you be taking any sales? Right. If this is, and part of the reason, like, I don't even know, if this is in a downtrend, would you be taking any buys? No, exactly. So let's look at this, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch this to, now I'm on a 4 hour. What we do know is BYOB cash out, right? So this is where we see the difference. We do know that you will, okay, higher time frame is where we understand our confluence. 15-minute chart is where we understand how to enter the trade. We analyze for entry, and that's where you have your PSAR flip, your blue line cross over the red, right? Your flat bottom, flat top candle, and the 5-minute is the actual entry. So if I'm looking at this, okay, let's switch to my 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐤 candles. Look how nice and beautiful they are. So I'm gonna zoom in, okay? Now this is my 4 hour candle, okay? Notice that I'm putting, like, I'll add one more so we can analyze those 4 areas. So we can kind of have some different areas to analyze. So in each one of these spaces, we have some candles, and I'm on my 4 hours. So obviously, if my 4 hour and my 1 hour, you know, the 4 hour kind of gives you that assurance that that's what's going on. But let's look at my hour where my confluence actually, you know, would begin. Let's look at my hour where my confluence will begin. All right. So looks like from a confluence standpoint, right? Blue line cross over the red, because our stochastic is a non-negotiable. So even though I had some green candles here, you know, right here, my stochastic probably wasn't curved at the time. So you can see it's starting to do that. And then of course, over here is where we kind of get, like, you see, I didn't have my 4 hour ready till there, but you can kind of see right here where my hour, it gave me an hour. So basically what I'm saying, when you look at this, that dropped 175, 180 pips. I don't care. You got to get your trade plan. Like, if I know what I'm looking for, I trade with the trend, right? I'm waiting on that to pull back, and this is where alerts come in handy and things like that. And you learn some of those things on that basic call, like setting alerts and things like that. If you don't, I mean, it's real simple to get on there and play with. But what I'm saying is, this is that area you're looking for, this area, and you can kind of set alerts by understanding, because we already set our support and resistance, so we know where to begin looking. I don't have to sit there, so I'm not watching this drop like disappointed that I'm not taking a trade. I'm gonna tell you guys now, I'm gonna say I do not trade against the trend. And I'll be like, I don't trade against the trend. I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. I will not do it. I don't care what vernacular you want to speak in, how you want to say it. For me, my trade plan is not going to happen. All right. I want to know, and that's just what I developed for myself. I know some people would be like, oh, that was 175 pips. Fantastic. Just make sure it's in your trade plan and you understand that you're counter trend trading on the big picture of the market, right? You need to know you're counter trend trading. You need to know those things. So, so here we go. Like on my 1 hour, we know that the 4 hour is here, but we can see that pullback. So obviously we're going to pull this one over just a little bit. And you can see that everywhere that we had the hour and the 4 hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a side by side, and we're going to pull up that Euro NZD on this side as well. And did everything translate over? Does not look like, oh, maybe, hold on. It did. All right, so now you notice I'm on a 15-minute chart on this side, okay? So what we're gonna do is, of course, this is where I'm going to put my line. So this one is on the hour. On the right side, we're on the hour. On my left side, I understand you can't replay. On my right, I'm sorry, on my left side, I'm on the hour. On my right side, I'm on a 15, okay? So let's look at this. Let's look at it. And I'm gonna start with what you guys are familiar with. I'm gonna move this so you guys can see, right? You see how it's moving on the other side as well? All right, so notice that I have a stochastic, okay? I got my blue line cross over the red and an upward momentum, all right? Then what I'm looking for, make sure this says 𝐜𝐤𝐤𝐤 right here. 𝐜𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤, 𝐜𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐜𝐤𝐤𝐜, 𝐜𝐜��𝐤𝐜, 𝐜𝐜��𝐤𝐜. If it doesn't say 𝐜𝐜��𝐤𝐜 right there, then you're not having the 𝐜𝐜��𝐤𝐜. All right, see it's gone. Now I gotta get my thing back. I'm just excited. He said, "This is how I made my first $1,000. My first $1,000, I love it." So guess what? If he can do it, I know you can do it too. Because if it can be done, that means it can be done. If it can be done, patience, patience, profit, right? Patience, patience, profit. Past profits don't guarantee future results. Is that what I'm supposed to tell you? So now, look right here. Blue line cross over the red and an upward momentum. And you notice that I did not get, so even if I look right here, that's really not a flat bottom, but even if you thought it was, right? Even if you thought it was, what's happening over here? Somebody help me out. Even if you thought it was, do I have confluence? Nope. So I come over here and I wait it out, right? And so now I have a a green candle with a flat bottom. My PSR is still rising, right? Now let's look at this. Do you consider this confluence? No? I got some no's. Now I come over here, move it over one. Nope. Move it over a little bit more. Now would you consider yourself having confluence? Blue line cross over the red in an upward momentum. I have a green candle with a flat bottom and my PSR is flipped. When I come over here, I have that green candle. Would you consider that confluence? Absolutely. And that's really what you're looking for. And of course, let me do this because when I drop down to the 5, it's going to move it again, right? So we're going to do this. I'm going to thicken it out because I know we had some more on there. And I'm going to drop down to the 5 minute, and then because we're going to have to scroll back over. It loves to move things, right? So when we move it and we get, now, of course, you have to move it a lot more because one, my window is smaller. And two, I just increased my candles by 3 because I was on the 15 and I went to the 5 minute. And for every 5 minute candle, there are 3 5-minute candles per 15, right? So we just definitely increased that. So we have to move over a lot and keep it moving. Now you see why I drew that line, right? Like that. Keep it moving. We'll get there eventually. Here we go. All right. So if I drop down to my 5 minute, okay, you can see now, I guarantee you what this looked like back then is you still kind of going up. You would not have seen that. It would have looked like this to you. So you would have been okay with that because I'm just looking for my stochastic. I'm okay with a 5 minute retest because I'm looking for entry so I don't have as much pullback. So I have that. I have a green candle, have a PSR. So I have confluence across the board. And then of course, when you go to set your take profit, you can take profit. If you only want 10 pips, this is where you get your 10 pips, right? 10 pips and cash out. Or you trade from zone to zone, which is what the question was, which is what we're definitely going to, I'm gonna spend a little bit more time with you. And of course, we'll come back. Now, once again, as I mentioned, that will not be next Thursday. I will be in flight. I will be flying Thursday evening, actually, to Louisiana. So I won't be doing that. But when we come back, we'll definitely come in and we could talk about that zone to zone, and you can understand those key entry points with the zone, because you notice that you see how in the midpoint, where you see that midpoint, the row that we drew, you notice, oh, thank you so much. You notice that this is where we actually would have taken profit, is right up in here, what we talked about, that midpoint, right? So you can kind of see, and that was actually over 150 pip move. So, and that would be how, you know, he said he got his profits today, and anybody else. And you just continuously do the same thing. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. And you just keep doing the same thing, right? And then of course, you wait for that retest, because you know you would have put some alerts on here, or if you'd have been watching it, right? Because you got up there. Now, if I would have took another one, which we're going to leave this on here. I love the fact, because I want you guys to know, like, this would have been that next take profit, but you notice it came up here. That's why I said I'll do zone to zone later, because even though it didn't hit the top of the channel, right? This is so you don't have to really ride those pullbacks, even though it's like you still see it hit those zones. You still see it hit those zones. And when you begin to combine those two, then it's really going to increase. Yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about. That's the in and out. And so it's going to increase your profit margin and your accuracy rate when you begin to combine those two. So one alone is going to help you, one or the other, but then understanding them both is going to take you to the next dimension, right? It's really going to take you to that next level. And the reason why some people prefer to get out of the trade and then take another trade is because everybody doesn't like to ride the pullbacks. You know, some people want to let it, you know, do the trade at the beginning of the week and then kind of let it sit, and then, you know, or do the trade and then understand the ultimate goal, run a trailing stop loss and those sorts of things. And then some people want to not do that, you know. Okay. I love it. $1,000 days. Now, see, that's what I'm talking about. I love it. So awesome. So, but that's, you know, so it's all about your trading preference. So this was extremely helpful. Well, I'm glad. All right. Anyone else? Any questions? Honestly, I have to sit down and reanalyze it from the top down. You know, I had done it to here. Now, what I do know, what you're asking is still in the sale until it passes this area. You know, I don't want to give you just something because I haven't, you know, definitely taken the time, you know, haven't taken the time. I didn't go in before the call and reanalyze to see where we were. Because anytime it gets to a certain point, I go reanalyze it. You know, it did what I said it was going to do, and then I go reanalyze it. But what I can tell you for the sake of time is that, right, we were creating the lower highs, creating those lower lows. And this is that last lower low before it hit this low. So it had a lower low. It got to this low. Now the market is either will it come all the way up? It's still, you know, you got to look at what it might do. So if it stops here and it comes back down, then it's still in a sale, right? Because it hasn't broken that structure. So, but I would be coming up here and doing a whole full-blown top-down analysis kind of thing, understanding where we are in order for me. So just based on what I'm seeing, no, we got to break this zone. It came down to here, and then I would be looking somewhere here. Like, but it's got to get, you know, you see it's still reacting in this little area right here. So it might just be trying to break it, or it could pull back up, but I will have to go in and really analyze it. before I come tell you, hey, this is definitely what it's doing. My focus tonight wasn't to break down the chart. It was to help you understand how to take the trade within the chart, within it. So I didn't do any pre-evaluations and kind of doing it before. But you're on to it. I tell you, got it. So thank you so much for this call. You're so excited for us to come. Also sending my condolences. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I greatly appreciate you all. I really do. I felt the love. Let me just say thank you so much for your calls, your texts, you know, the messages and everything else. So thank you for anybody that reached out in any way, whether it was on Facebook and just anywhere. So just thank you all. I appreciate it. I really do. All right. Any other questions or comments or testimonies so we can close out? I love testimonies now. I do. I love testimonies. I love them. 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 All right. Thank you so much. So I did record this one because I got in trouble after that last call. Now, when we are on BYOB Live, like I say, you guys should see it kind of pop back up. When we do go to BYOB Live, the recordings will be inside of there. So this one, you know, I'll post it because I'm not going to be able to load this inside of there, if that makes sense. So we'll get these posted. Did record this one so we can make sure that you all have it. All right. All right, guys. So with that, as we close out our week, you know, I do want to wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day this weekend, right? I do want to wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day. Mother's Day is Sunday. I hope you all enjoy your day, spending time with your families, you know, spending time with your children, you know, kind of, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It is your day. Enjoy it. You know, every other day is Children's Day. You got, you know, every other day is Children's Day. We got one day. I didn't even, and oh, thank you guys so much. I didn't even realize my birthday didn't belong to me anymore. My daughter called it our birthday. So I don't know. I didn't know we lose those days too. So I guess Mother's Day is the only day that's really ours, even though she told me I got to share that too because I have a grandchild. So, but I'm taking my day. So you all just have a wonderful, wonderful, and we will see you back here next week, right? We'll see you back here next week. And pay attention to the Telegram because there will, as I mentioned at the top of this call, there will be some adjustments to that call. Also, I do want to make sure that you all get registered on May the 20th. You want to make sure you show up for the Wealth Summit, right? So you definitely want to be present at the Wealth Summit. You want to get registered, okay? And do not forget your training tools, affiliates and customers. You know, affiliates and customers right here. Everything you need to get started, everything you need for your success. We have our website network, right? And everything that you need is there. So everything you need to be successful is right here. All right, guys. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out this call. I love you all, and I will definitely see you all next week. And once again, happy Mother's Day. And this is going to officially conclude this call.